What up, people? Well, welcome to part two of the E3 10-year retrospect. Right now we're on 2010. I already gave you guys the Nintendo and Xbox 2010 E3 experience, so what I thought about it, what was good about it, what was bad about it, and made you guys reminisce and shit. And you guys know, I hope you guys enjoyed that part. So this part two, I thought I was gonna add all the other stuff like Ubi stuff and all that shit, but I said, you know what, let me just stick to the big three because after I was done writing down everything I had to say about PlayStation's E3 presentation for 2010, I was like, okay, this will be a long ass show if I go into more than just them what they did. So first off, as usual, let me let you know, guys know what I'm drinking. I got a Blue Moon here. And with that, I'm drinking a strong ass margarita made by the Bartesian. And no, I'm not sponsored by them, but that's just one of the many machines that are in my house. But yes. So I am your host, Dre, aka BK Brawler 537, aka your gaming alky. You know, borderline alky. I'm not there because I don't rely on this stuff. I just love drinking it whenever I'm playing video games and talking to you guys. But anyway, let's get this started. So we're in 2010. Sony, PSP is still a thing. PlayStation Move is getting announced, hasn't been released yet. And PS3 is still going strong. And you know, like E3 is here, and let's see how it went. So, opening of Sony's 2010 E3 show, they showed a lot of the PSP, which we all know became a failure at this point in time. And they showed a little sizzle reel of a bunch of their games that, in all honesty, guys, none of them looked as good as the Xbox 360 games. But I think at that point in time, a lot of people were willing to admit that Xbox had the better multiplayer and the better looking games. And if you're arguing with me about that, you weren't alive back then, or you never owned an Xbox 360. Because Xbox, although PlayStation had the bigger sales, Xbox was king of the ring at this time. Xbox 360 was destroying PlayStation when it came to multiplayer and when it came to graphics. No matter what you say, the numbers could say one thing and gameplay could say another. And you can't really argue with me if you only owned one of those consoles, okay? So let's leave it at that. Also, Jack Trenton was there. He came to school, to stage. I said school, and that guy was a cool cat. Met him plenty of times while working for PlayStation. Definitely a cool cat. Wish he was still around, but went on and he's still doing big things, I'm sure. But let's see what he had to say, right? So first up, oh yeah, there was even a little thing of Kevin Butler, but we're gonna get to him later. You know, this comedian who was really good for the PlayStation brand, but we'll get to him later. So first, Jack comes onto the stage, and first person he brings out is Kaz Hirai, and they want to talk about 3D. Remember when 3D was a big thing for PlayStation? This whole show is a lot of 3D talk. You know, 3D games. He wanted to talk. He showed out Wipeout. He talked about MotorStorm. And just, yeah, kept telling us about how it was the dawn of 3D age, and it was the dawn of a 3D age. We talked about it in the last podcast about how everybody was going to want a 3D TV at this point in time, even though a lot of people didn't believe in them and stuff. But after you got a hold of it, everybody was doing 3D at this time, you know. But they started to show off some games, and the first one showed off was Killzone 3. At that point, I don't think a lot of us cared about Killzone 3 in 3D. A lot of people cheered in the crowd, but when Killzone 3 came out, I don't remember ever really showing that game. We used to show up everything in 3D when I worked for PlayStation, and that's one of those games we did not care to show off in 3D that much. I think we probably did it for a week, and then we're like, yo, this shit doesn't look that good. Boom, to the side. Yeah, so Killzone 3, I don't think anybody played that in 3D. So after that, Oh yeah, and it was compatible with the PlayStation Move as well. They did try to go hard on the Move, like I mentioned earlier. So after that, we get on. They keep talking about 3D. They talked about how Sly Cooper is going to be in 3D. They talked about Gran Turismo going to be 3D, and I promise you guys who never got to see those games in 3D, it didn't look nothing special. Those games did not look special in 3D. They showed off NBA 2K11, showed off MLB 2K11. They showed off what's that game for the move? The Fight. Said that was going to be in 3D, and yeah, so it was just a lot of hype around 3D and PlayStation Move. But guys, it was hype for nothing because no one really cared about 3D on the PlayStation when it came out. Everyone mostly cared about play 3D on their regular TV shows and shit like that, and their Blu-ray movies or 3D movies, because I think they were separated 3D and Blu-ray at that time. So they show that stuff off. I want you guys to know ahead of a time, PlayStation, I feel, came here with not that big of a library to show off because they started showing off these 3D reels and move games. And throughout the show, which I'll probably talk about later, we got reels of the same games over and over. And probably when this shit first started, I didn't notice this. But now watching this shit over again, I realized we were being shown the same fucking games over and over and over again throughout the show. They show Motorsport like 4 times. They show Madden. They show Tiger Woods. They show Killzone like fucking in 4 different presentations during this show, guys. Like, you guys always talk about exclusive content, but remember, PlayStation launches with very little games. I remember PlayStation 4 only came out with like 6 or 7 games. A lot of you, I'm not going to say didn't know that. A lot of you pretend not to know that or willingly forget that because you want to be part of the Sony pony crowd that defends everything Sony does. But this is not a pod about bashing Sony because, hey, I still love them. I love all games. I'm an addict. I buy everything. But I just love going in on you people who are addicted to one thing and one thing only and love to defend it to the max but can't say shit when you bring up Nintendo. Right? Yep. I caught on to something right there. Oh, okay, exactly. So after they went on their little 3D presentation, they went on and started talking about the thing that we started bitching about years later. They want to talk numbers, and they want to talk about how many PS3s have been sold. And it's funny how you guys hated that when they did that, but now all you guys do is throw out numbers when arguing PlayStation and blah, blah, blah. So you guys are just as boring as they sounded during this E3 fucking press conference, okay? Just know how fucking boring you sound because not all is about how much something sells, entertainment it gives, right? A la Nintendo, right? Oh, I just said that, right? Okay, then shut the fuck up if you have an argument. So they go on, give those damn numbers. But now we get into the PlayStation Move part of the show. And one thing that happened during this part of the presentation, I forgot the name of the guy that came out, but there was a lot of looking at the teleprompter, kind of like I'm looking at my tablet right now because I had a lot to say, so I have a lot written down on my fucking tablet. But I know one thing when it comes to games that or at least a lot of video games, even if I'm not passionate about it, when it comes to games, I know them. I know what I'm talking about. And one thing that irritated me during these old press conferences, and probably sometimes today, is that how much they needed to use the teleprompter to talk about the stuff that you would think that you're getting paid to know about. So this guy that came out there is constantly looking down for like 10 seconds, then looking to the crowd, looking down. And it was mad obvious he had to explain what the move was through this teleprompter. Right there is a red flag. Because why the fuck would you bring out a guy that probably never, it seems like he's never played the move, because you just need to play the move one time to know what the move is about. Like, that's all I had to do when I was working for them. Play the move one time, and I could sit there and tell everybody what the move is about. Talk about individual games, go ahead, I could do that too, because I played all the fucking games too. But for a guy that had ample amount of time to probably try this shit out, he probably just sat there like, oh, just put it on the teleprompter and I'll just read it off of there. I don't got no time to play this shit. This is another thing I hate about the gaming industry is when people get hired because of just maybe marketing, but they have no passion for what they're marketing. And this guy, I just got a sense. I'm not gonna say that I knew him personally, never met him while working for Sony, but it seemed like he did not have a passion for the game, and he did not give a fuck about PlayStation Move or what it could do. He's just gonna read that teleprompter because what he was getting paid to do is what he did. So after he does that, let's see, well, I want to go there. So yeah, after he talks about the move and what it's capable of, we got us another sizzle reel, and of course it was about the PlayStation Move sizzle reel, and people loved. They were talking about how great the move was gonna be. LOL, LOL, because we all know that the move was practically a failure. Had one or two games that probably worked well with. Other than that, it was a gimmick, even though we still use it for our 3D now, which is at least one reason for people to still buy it, but it's not like they sell them like they're a hot commodity now, right? So we did, they gave us, they showed us, after that, they showed us the game Sorcery. I remember this game too. Used move game, had this big book, had these spells on it. It was sold as a big book, nice little thing. A lot of people loved it. People thought it was like, you know, we were Harry Potter, you know, and playing video. We had a demo of this shit, and people loved playing this shit at our store, and it was an easy sell after they played it. But in the long run, it wasn't shit. The game got old fast. You're using the same spells over and over again, you know. But yeah, that was shown off. The game wasn't as big as we thought it was gonna be. Then they showed off gameplay for Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2011, which I will give it up to them that the PlayStation Move made my job so much more funner when I used to play Tiger Woods with customers in our PlayStation Lounge, and that was fun. I bought that. I took that home. Yeah, so that was good. So I didn't mind them showing that off because in the end, Tiger Woods PGA Tour playing golf with the Move control is probably as good as the Move control got, other than us using it for our virtual reality games now. But after that, Kevin Butler comes out. Lo and behold, because of how cool and chill he is, and he's a comedian, he doesn't need a teleprompter, doesn't look down not once. He's just talking about, he's like, okay, enough with all these peripherals. Let's talk about games, games, games. And the man goes on a 10-minute tirade and jokes and does not show off not one fucking game for like 10 minutes and then leaves the stage. So what was the point of him being there? Just to hype up the crowd? Hey, the guys are feeling down about PlayStation Move. Let's make them fucking laugh. Go out there and say something. Seems like all he was there for, because everything he said amounted to nothing at the end of his conversation. So after that, they went into announcing when PlayStation Move was going to be announced. They said we was going to get it in North America September 19th. Europe was getting it September 15th, and Japan in October. And boy, was the crowd excited. Little did they know how much their excitement would drop once they got to play all the games that came out with it. Then they came out and they want to show us Sports Champions, which of course is their, what's the word I'm looking for? It was their comeback, I guess, since I can't find the word, against Wii Sports, you know. And hey, Sports Champions was a good game. It had archery, had the bowling, had the sword and shield fighting. We loved it. We had a fun time playing that shit when I were, for Sony and shit. That was a good game. So they showed that off, and they showed off the PlayStation bundle that was going to come with it, and that shit sold a lot for us when we were working for Sony. Definitely sold a lot, so I'm not even going to knock that. But after that, they want us to show us everything we should expect for PlayStation Move for the rest of the year, which was basically all the show games they showed us earlier in the presentation. They didn't save nothing for later. They just kept showing us the same shit over and over again. So, and So at that point, I'm like, damn, if this was a press conference in today's day and age, already we're gonna rate them at a C or a D because they didn't really have much to show. They had these like 5, 6 games, and throughout the show, it's like they talk, they hope we forget, show us the same fucking games again, talk some more, hope we forgot, show us the same fucking games over and over again. They were just rehashing their games. All right, guys, at this point, I don't remember what they got. I'm not going to go to any website and check and see what other people graded them at this point, but I'm thinking in today's day and age, that shit wasn't going to cut it. What Facebook and all that shit being out, that shit wasn't going to cut it. People were going to go online, people were going to bitch, and people were going to complain. So, after that, they showed off, what was that? Hold on, wait. Oh yeah, we went into the PSP thing, and they showed the boy Marcus. You guys remember Marcus? He was that funny little black comedian boy, the young boy. He always be in the commercials with Kevin Butler, and that shit was funny. Like and they showed like 2 or 3 commercials with him about PSP and the things he know, but didn't really show off any PSP games. They talked about Metal Gear, talked about Mod Nation Racing, but they didn't go into any real games. It was just commercials. So that was yeah, whatever. So after that, Jack comes out, tells us about how Metal Gear Peace Walker was gonna be a strong release on PSP, which it was. Then he showed off God of War, Chains of Olympus, which of course was another big game because who doesn't want more God of War? Then he showed off other games coming to the PSP like Tron Evolution, Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep, Ace Combat, Toy Story, UFC 2010, and yeah, they were showing all this game, and it's crazy how great the lineup of PSP was looking until we finally got our PSPs, and that shit died out so fucking fast, right? I still got my PSP here sitting in a fucking corner somewhere, but that shit died fast. So now comes after that a presentation of Little Big Planet 2. Sackboy is one of PlayStation's mascots now, like Mario is to Nintendo, Master Chief is to Microsoft. So we got a little presentation for Little Big Planet 2. I wasn't gonna fucking go into that. So, but then I didn't even notice 2010, the announcement of PlayStation Plus, when they told us that they were gonna start giving us some high quality internet. We were gonna start getting free games, starting with Wipeout and like 3 other games. Didn't write them down because none of them were noteworthy other than a demo to Infamous 2. That was the only noteworthy thing in Wipeout, and they announced like 2 other games that would be free, and just told us, try to sell us on how great PlayStation Plus was going to be, and told us we'll get a subscription to PlayStation's at that time magazine service, virtual service Core. I remember that show. I loved Core. And those of you that my friends that work with me at Sony remember how I was the only one who knew that shit in our interview when they asked us about what is the PlayStation magazine, PlayStation brand magazine virtual thing or whatever the fuck they were talking about. I was the only one who knew, so I'm gonna take credit for that now. So Sam, Khalid, you guys know who you are. I'm not gonna say the rest of your names, but you guys ain't no shit when it came to video games when it was up against me. But after that, so they announced that PlayStation Plus, and oh god, so John Shepard came, not Shepard, something else. John comes out talking about EA games on PS3. Talks about Medal of Honor, which was a failure. Talks about exclusive content coming of it. Exclusive content coming to Dead Space 2, which was a success in its own right. They spoke about how strong their relationship was with Sony. So strong that in the future, you guys will launch EA Access and Sony would deny you. And only Xbox would put that shit on their system for like 2 years, maybe even 3 years before Sony just gave in and said, fuck it. Since these motherfuckers are bitching, put the shit on our system too. All right, so boom. So yeah, so it's funny how times change. That's why I wanted to do this retrospect so you guys could see what the gaming industry was then and what it's like now. Because it's definitely a whole different thing. We also got a presentation on Portal 2, one of the greatest games ever made, and how much different it was going to be on PS3. Then we got a nice little video on Final Fantasy 14 before it was released. And we all know Final Fantasy 14 is still going strong till this day. Still going strong. Also on this day, Mafia 2 is announced with exclusive content for PS3. Now, in today's day and age, we're all playing definitive editions of Mafia 1, 2, and 3. So, hey, who would have known, right? Who would have known? Also, Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood is showing off. It's announced, and they show off multiplayer. And those of us on PlayStation Plus would be getting a multiplayer beta. Now, Assassin's Creed multiplayer was okay. I didn't really care much for it. Sneaking up on people, whatever. It was fun for like a week or so, but I think at that time I was more still into my single player game, so I didn't really give a fuck. After that, we got another sizzle video showing more titles coming to PS3. Once again, we get the same shit shown to us again. They showed us Medal of Honor. They showed us Dead Space 2. They showed us Killzone. They showed us Mafia 2. They showed us NBA 2K11. They showed us Madden 11. They showed us Tiger Woods. All this shit. NCAA 2011. All this shit that they've been showing us early in the show. They kept doing these sizzle videos for what? Because they were showing us the same shit over and over again. All right. So after that, they showed us some more Move games like Little Big Panic 2 was gonna be Move compatible. Echo Chrome 2, which I love. Echo Chrome was a good game. Nice little puzzler. Never played it, look it up. They showed what was it? My Nation Racers, which we saw already, Gran Turismo 5, Motor Storm, all the same shit. Like I said, keep showing over and over again. So after that, we get like an official trailer for Infamous 2, which was nice. And a real-time trailer comes on about taxi drivers arguing about the best car combat games out there. And then one taxi driver says, "Hey, name one car destruction game that came out on PS1, PS2, PS3. My accent is probably really bad, but that's just kind of how he sounded. And the guy's like, okay, you win the argument. The guy's smoking a cigar. He throws his fucking cigar behind him. And then we hear an ice cream truck rolling up and shit. So I guess everybody in the crowd goes wild because we already know if you hear ice cream truck and two motherfuckers talking about a damn car game, what else is coming but fucking Twisted Metal? That was their big announcement for the night. So Sweet Tooth comes out, picks up the cigar, starts smoking it. Then flashes back to the stage where they were at, and an ice cream truck comes out on the stage with a fake ass motherfucker dressed up as Sweet Tooth, and they just tell us about how Sweet Tooth, how Twisted Metal multiplayer beta was coming to the PS3, and hey, left on a high note. Not as good as when Nintendo let people play Zelda or the 3DS. Not as good as when Xbox gave everyone in the crowd an Xbox 360 system, but at least they gave us Twisted Metal at that time. But guys, that's it. That's all it is for 2010. This weekend coming, we'll get into E3 2011. Like I said, I'm gonna focus on just the big dogs. So there's Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. And I'm just gonna keep comparing their press conferences up to when we reach 2020 we ain't had shit, but up 2019, you guys already know COVID killed 2020. So that's it, guys. Someone asking me about the stupidest shit I heard all week. Well, guys, surprisingly, in the past 3 weeks, I haven't saw any stupid shit on the internet. All right. So that's why I don't have that. But I can tell you guys, though, I forgot to mention this the last pod, that I did play the Tony Hawk demo. I pre-ordered my Tony Hawk 1 and 2. And if you know Tony Hawk, if you're part of that generation with me that played Tony Hawk 1 and 2, if you play that demo, and when you get that game, it's gonna be like riding a bike. Didn't need no instruction manual. The game was great. The I love grinding on shit while listening to Superman, still breaking through that little glass room. All the buttons are the fucking same, guys. Circle is to grab your board, triangle still to grab, X to get extra hops, square to do your kick flips, guys. Like, if you were debating whether this Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remake was going to be just as good as the original, bet your ass it will be. It will be a rated 8 or 9. I don't say a perfect 10 yet because it's just a demo, but from what I played from the demo, it will be an 8 or 9, guys. So as usual, hope you guys enjoyed this. Please like us or follow us on Facebook, Gamerish Network, our Instagram, Gamerish Network. If you want to buy some Gamerish merchandise, we always post a link tree underneath all our videos. Just click on that. You can go to our website, spreadshirt.com, and look for Gamerish hats, t-shirts, all that good shit. If you want to support us financially, you could join our Patreon, be part of our podcast. If you are part of our Patreon. But guys, we're everything we do for you. We just want this to, we want to be different from everyone else. We like being the most interactive gamer community compared to other gamer communities where you guys only could pay to maybe talk to your favorite podcasters and stuff. You guys could literally hit us up and say, hey, I would love to be on a pod this week, and we will get you on that fucking pod. We do a lot of competition. You guys know I have the greatest anime protagonist competition going on where I give people $25 gift card if your characters win, Amazon gift card, and I keep doing this every month. Movies, anime, TV shows, video games. So follow us, guys. There's a lot coming. So until next time, as usual, guys, enjoy your drinks, enjoy your games. Peace out.